is very regular environment, which falls around the theme of this program, and it is the future of faith. How do we navigate the trends in technology? Now, I would want everybody to participate in this conversation, and I want to lay a caveat. If we have any questions, or if I have a poser, any answer or any response is welcome. Your response may form the basis for a beginning for us to reason more further than where we are today. Before I proceed, it's very surreal for me to come back to this community. About 21 years ago, I graduated from Ijegun Senior Province Vice President, and I served as the Games Minister 21 years ago. So, and since then, I've never had cause to come back to this community. So driving through this place, I saw that this was not the Ijegun that because the Ijegun, the way that I know, all these places used to be a bush, and I was just go straight back from that Kude junction down to Ijegun. But today is a very big city. Now, that in itself piqued my mind, and it actually formed the basis for our conversation. What are you looking at as a desert today? And what do you imagine in the next 15, 10, 20 years? Let me give you an example, and this is what I'm talking about. You know, when we were in primary school, they ask you, what do you want to become in life? You say so many things. But you realize that some people do not become what they want to become. Not because they have lost their aspiration, but because they fail to lay the proper foundation. Because they fail to put in the work. Just yesterday, I saw a video on the internet, and someone was pontificating, and she was saying that Usain Bolt trained for 10 years, or more than 10 years. But all that we have saw him run on TV is less than 10 minutes. So it means that someone has put in the work of the 10 years into just a show of less than 10 minutes. And if you ask me today, in the whole world, he is recognized as the fastest man on earth. So to see that future, the future of faith in the world, the question is, what work are we putting into that future? Someone imagined that he was going to build this school. The person saw it as a place where people could come and share ideas. That person possibly had conceived that idea while he was in his bed, or while he was doing one thing that was unnecessary. But he failed to be distracted from that dream. What was the first that the person would have done? It was to put this dream into writing, or tell this dream to someone who is going to help that person actualize it. That is why whenever or wherever I see young people, and when I mean young people below the age of 40 gather to ruminate, to think. Inú mi máa ń dùn gan. Ìkíni ìdílé pé kò sí nǹkan tí èèyàn jẹ́ àbí tí ò gba ìrònú. But màá mú ìyàtọ̀ fún yín látara nǹkan tó pè ní ìrònú àti ìrònú. Ìròrí ló máa ń mú solution wá. Ìrònú ó máa ń lead, ó máa ń take from us, ó máa lead to depression and so on. So anything here is there. I don't know who owns this place, but I know that this dream of where we are gathered today did not start just today. It started maybe 13, 40 years ago. Tinubu wanted to become president. And Tinubu had that idea far back his days working as a young person. That was why when there was a need for him to switch career, he had to take that decision very fast. That was when the opportunity came for him to contest as a senator in Lagos West. That was why he put in his aspiration. Because it is in the first thing is that the young need ìrísí yẹn máa ń dàbí ìgbà tẹ́ tí wọ́n gbé ìkọ́ wá fún yàn bí wáyé revelation bí ìmọ̀ bóyá èmi nìkan ni as a young person you see that èèyàn kò máa jókòó ẹ̀yìn kò máa ronú báyé dáadáa wàá dẹ̀ máa imagine ìyá máa ríra àyàn ní ibi ńláńlá bí ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sí the moment tí kíní yẹn ti ṣẹlẹ̀ most times kò ń padà wá lẹ́nu àwọn time kan wà ní láìpẹ́ wa èèyàn wá gba àwọn nǹkan mo máa ti dá mo ti dé ìgbà yẹn náà. It is not because you have gotten there before, it is because your mind ó ti gbé ẹ gbàgbé kọjá rí. As I speak, there are so many things that have happened to me that are tọ́lọ́ ti fi ní ẹ̀bùn yẹn. So nǹkan tí mo lè fà lọ́bẹ̀ ni pé Ọlọ́run gbogbo wa ní ẹ̀bùn láti fẹ́. But the moment you have that ṣé ìrísí àbí why the next step that you take to bring it to fruition. Now ọ̀nà méjì ló pèsè. Ó dàbí ó máa ń first níbẹ̀ ní sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn fún. Tí ètò sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn tó bá jẹ́ ètò máa kí the dream yẹn. Okay, that dream is dead for life. That is one. Number two, the action will take immediately tí ènìyàn ti tó wá sí wa lọ́kàn. Action yẹn ló máa ń form the basis for planning. And from planning, the strategy. Because ẹni tí ò jókòó kó ronú bí kan ṣe máa ṣẹlẹ̀ èdè kan ló ṣe mọ́tò náà ó rò ó kí kan máa gbé àmì èèyàn ó jókòó ìgbà ó pọ̀ sílẹ̀ àbí àmì. So planning then the next thing is strategy. Ìdí èdè sọ̀rọ̀ lọ síbẹ̀ ní pé for us to have the future of the faith that we want. Conversations like this òun ló máa ń mú àwọn kí ni ẹ̀ wá sáyé. Torí ẹni inú máa ń dùn tí ẹ bá rí àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n péjọ tí wọ́n bá ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ bí ayé ṣe máa dá àbí tí wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ tó ń pe orúkọ Ọlọ́run máa ń wà nínú máa ń láti àṣìṣe pẹ̀lú irú àwọn èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀. Because èèyàn kan náà ló máa pè yín èèyàn kan náà ló máa ṣètò nǹkan tó máa mú wa wọná. Wọ́n ṣe wọn nígbà ń sọ̀rọ̀ sí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ báwọn mi wà kúrò báyìí. Àwọn mi so many things ká máa isolate nǹkan ẹ̀yọ̀ kan. Ẹlòmíì wọ́n ṣe máa ṣe so many things tó máa ba ọjọ́ ọ̀la wọn jẹ́ òun lọ́rùn. Now ìdí yẹ kí n wá sọ ìyẹn dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n put the program together. Putting this program together will have taken a whole lot from them. Lórúkọ easy kéèyàn ní kẹfì ìkan tó yẹ kẹ máa ṣe múmẹ́ǹtì sílẹ̀ kẹ wá jókòó síbi ìkan tó ń bá yín rò pé kẹ wà. Well, that person ó ti ní power of thought, power of ìròyìn. Ẹni yẹn ti rí lọ́wọ́ organize tó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́yìn. Mo fẹ́ kí a take 1 minute to pray for àwọn tí Ọlọ́run lò tí Ọlọ́run fi gbé ìjókòó yìí tí Ọlọ́run fi kalẹ̀ fún wa. Àwọn àgbàdúrà pé irú dáadáa báyìí kò ní ọwọ́ wọn. Àwọn tó wá jẹ́ pé àkàn wá láti wá participate níbi báyìí lẹ́yìn. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wá rò pé ká ní pé èmi náà fi 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes sílẹ̀ ṣé kí ní yóò lè dájú báyìí lọ. Let's just think about that. If you are gbàgbà táwọn sáré kiri tí wọ́n sùn tí wọ́n kọ lẹ́tà tí wọ́n ṣe ṣe tó bá jẹ́ pé ẹ̀yin náà contribute 5-10 minutes of your own time ṣe rò pé kí ní yóò ní dájú báyìí lórí mi because nǹkan tí àwọn tí wọ́n gbé jókòó yìí sílẹ̀ tó ń lò kàn nílé if you ask me they would have wanted this thing to be done maybe in Marriott hotel hopefully the best ambience but ẹ wá imagine pé wọ́n take any step rárá so implication ni pé ó máa ń ṣe nínú ìgbà ká ní èròǹgbà pé àfẹ́gbà 10 ó yẹ pé àpàdà gba 5 àbí 6 but ẹni tí òṣèré rárá kí ló máa gbà kò ní kankan nítorí ẹ̀dẹ̀ sí Mandela ti sọ pé ó ní if we fight we may win kò ní we will win but if we do not fight only we have lost so nǹkan yẹn ló yẹ kí wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ lọ sí building top leadership òun ni pé ìjọ tí ẹ ti ro kọ́tẹ́ fẹ́ jẹ́ àbí ẹ ti conceive idea yẹn ìgbésẹ̀ wo lè ń gbé that's the first thing the second thing ni pé ibo ìgbésẹ̀ yìí mo ló ń hẹ́ndì ní sí so that is where my lecture is revolving around so at the end of this conversation ohun tí a máa mú kúrò bí ni pé kí ni a lè máa ṣe gẹ́gẹ́ bí young people ó lè wù because if you say you want to build the future of faith you are saying invariably you want to build your own future for people to be able to gather like this in a very bigger in a very auspicious and a more convenient opportunity láti lè make conversation by so that takes me straight to the topic wọ́n ní kí n sọ̀rọ̀ nípa rẹ̀ wọ́n ní báwo la ìfẹ́ prepare Muslim youth to be thought leaders in science, technology and culture nǹkan mẹ́ta in science, technology and culture now and ìtí mo yẹ sọ ni pé ta ló ní fóònù tó ní íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì níbà ta ló ní fóònù tó ní íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì níbà everybody ẹlòmíì gan ní méjì ẹlòmíì ní mẹ́ta so the greatest gift tí century yìí fún wa òun ní íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì on the other hand òun náà ni the greatest albatross century ẹ̀bùn tí Ọlọ́run fún wa jù ní century tàwa ìkan ní internet wọ́n fẹ́ bèèrè kíní kan ní pé tí àwọn nǹkan ò bá jókòó fún ọ̀rùn bí internet ṣe máa wà ṣe ló ká máa ní ìkan tó jẹ́ internet no so how now with that ẹ lọ sí orí fóònù yìí sí wẹ́wẹ́ this first one thought leader thought leader. Google T-H-O-U-G-H-T àti leader Google ti Google now ta ló lè sọ nǹkan tí òun rí níbẹ̀ ta ló lè volunteer láti kà fún wa ok ẹ sọ nǹkan tẹ rí bẹ́ẹ̀.
A thought leader is an individual or firm recognized as the foremost authority in a specific field. As the term implies, a thought leader leads others in the thinking around a given topic.
Now, mo fẹ́ kẹ́ anybody tó bá wọ̀ ní mind anybody tó bá wọ̀ anybody no àwọn anybody tó bá wọ̀ ní. Okay. Now, látara àwọn tó kà yẹn wọ́n ní a thought leader wọ́n ló jẹ́ tí wọ́n wà recognized as an authority in a specific field. Now, mo fẹ́ idea kí ni ẹ rò pé ó máa jẹ́ kí èèyàn kan wà recognized in a specific field? The way and his manner of approach. So ó mean pé ẹ̀fọ́ ẹ̀dọ́ àwọn ènìyàn máa ń ẹ tó bá wù yìí ẹ lè fáwọn ọkùnrin náà. Ẹ̀yẹ́ ti fún yàrá the way and manner of the person's approach. Now another quality tí tọ́kì ìyá gbọ́dọ̀ ní anything about smiling, good communication. Now ẹ̀fọ́ tó bá wọ̀n yìí ní mic ṣé kò bá yín láti anybody tó bá wọ̀n yìí bọ̀ ẹ lè fáwọn ọkùnrin náà ẹ lè fóbìnrin náà. Now ṣé rí nǹkan táwọn ọkọ sọ nílé ètò wájú tọ́jú ìdágbọ́dọ̀ ní ìwà way and manner. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe kí ni ó gbọ́dọ̀ ní ìwà. That's the first thing. Ó mí ìpè tọ́jú ìdádá bí ẹni tí ẹ ń wò níwájú abẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ni in that specific field. Ṣé o pé èèyàn lè mọ gbogbo ìpè kó má ní ìwà abẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ni. Accountability. So ẹ̀yẹ́ kí ọkọ̀ fún mi ní example ètò bá jẹ́ top leader 30 euro any top leader 30 euro tó bá fún mẹ́jọ ẹ̀yẹ́ kó fún ní example ẹni yẹn bóyá ní field of science, technology or culture. Àwọn sọ pé ẹni tó bá jẹ́ top leader sí ó gbọ́dọ̀ wà accountable. So what the principle of accountability is not about giving record, it's about being responsible. Tó bá gbé yàn ní top leader sí ẹni yẹn gbọ́dọ̀ wà responsible for his time, for the way he looks. Èèyàn ṣáà lè wà kí sàkójókòó sí wa ẹ̀yẹ wo àfáà yìí wọ́n ṣe ń dán. Tó bá gbà kí sàlọ́wọ́ tó jókòó sí wa àwọn èèyàn máa lé wọn kúrò bẹ́ẹ̀. So you must be accountable not just to but to yourself. And the first place that's why we are accountability lele it is to see that ṣé nǹkan tí mò ń ṣe yìí ṣe tó bá ká mi wọ́n di ẹ̀. Integrity. So wọ́n dàgbé sí fọ́fà kan ní máa yìí. So ẹ fún mi ní sample thought leader kan.
Ẹ dárúkọ
èèyàn kan.
Larry Page.
Kí ló wà popular for? Google. Now ṣẹ́rí Larry Page ta ló mọ ìṣòro ìfà Google? Ta ló mọ story for ìfà Google? Ṣẹ́rí Google àwọn èèyàn wà ní university tó ti dá nǹkan òròjú sílẹ̀ o wọ́n wá wò pé student ni wọ́n university wọ́n wò pé báwo la ṣe lè máa kọ̀mpútà ti wà gbà ẹ̀ báwo la ṣe lè mú nǹkan tó wà nínú ìwé báwo la ṣe lè mú sínú nǹkan tí a máa ibi tó bá tẹ̀ nǹkan báyìí á gbé jáde fún ẹ without to reduce your hassle to read ibi tó ti find Google nìyẹn. So Larry Page kí ló ṣe ó jókòó ó ṣe ìrònú nígbà wo ló ṣe fẹ́ reduce stress àwọn èèyàn. Now do you think that someone who is lazy intellectually ṣó lè found nǹkan tó yẹ kí gbogbo world máa láti rí lè o possible. So ẹ jẹ́ kó tó fún mi ní example any top leader mo fẹ́ fún mi ní instance kan o but ẹ jẹ́ kó fún mi ní example yẹn kan ẹ tó bá wù yín ẹ má fi ṣe ká ẹnì kan fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ẹni ẹ̀sánì Facebook ó lóun fẹ́ báyìí wà ní ìṣòro ló tẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ náà ní àbá òun tẹ̀lé yọrí sórí tọ̀ gbogbo àwọn báwo la fi lè connect ara wa to be create social media platform. It was a test but that kind of test ṣé test yẹn tí kò ní ìròyìn ẹ̀rọ fún ní máa jẹ sí. Adam Grant.
Yes.
Okay.
Organizational
psychologist.
Under management.
Now, Cherry, what she mentioned Adam Grant yesterday is now say, okay, how can organizations be better? How do we study people's behavior in an organization to bring about optimal performance? So, in continuing foundation, for one to become a top leader, Do you now think that such person can come to that level without reading? So possible. To buy a possible, you don't know what you can engage. Even Adam Grant may develop theory to wine without sitting down. Research. And when you want to do a research, you want to learn from the mistake of your predecessors. They have done it before. You want to learn from their mistakes. So any talk can be by. Don't think that for concealing it. Possible. You must make mistakes, fall. But let's not bring it up in this century that one. Do we have any young person? Do you see any young person who is aspiring to be go? Ṣé ti rí èèyàn kan tẹ́ fi pé ó fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan táwọn Adam Grant ṣe, ó fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan tí Martin Gaba ṣe, ó fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan tí Larry Page ṣe? Do you see that quality in amongst us today? So it takes me to now go back to the basics. Ṣẹ̀rí basic yẹn òun ni home. Research jẹ́ ká mọ̀ pé ọmọ tó bá nífẹ̀ẹ́ nílé ó lè máa wà excellent o but kò ní fall below the class. Get nǹkan tí mo mean sìn. Ó lè máa jẹ because ṣe ní àwọn tó máa ń gba excellence tó máa ń gba distinction yẹn àánú Ọlọ́run ló máa ń fún àwọn èèyàn ni. But àwọn tí wọ́n Ọlọ́run fún yẹn ṣẹ́tìrẹ́ tí ó gba first class rí tí ó kì í kàwé kò possible abẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ni. So ibi tí mo fẹ́ fàyọ sí ni pé as young people ibi tí society ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ibi tí top leadership tó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ inú ilé wa ni. And I see everyone here as young parents. See that we are to marry, we are to marry, everyone here. Because anybody tó bá ti láti 18 you to have marriable age, either as a male or as a female. Any other thing extra. Now, kí ni à ń kọ́ àwọn ọmọ wa nílé? Ṣé tẹ̀yìn bá dé ṣé TV lẹ́tàn fún ọmọ yín kó ba lè distract ẹ̀yin àbẹ́ ń gbéwèé fún kó lè kà? When I was doing a particular study, ṣe pé àwọn èèyàn kí ká lóògùn mọ́ sí kọ́ka ìdúbà ìkọ́ka àríwọ̀. But when we were in school, lóbẹ̀ tó ti kà lọ́mọ fi ń ṣàkó àmì. Torí background táwa ti wá. We are not used to reading. But we now discover that without reading, you cannot succeed. So, long time ago, around the of Ijegun, side the Kotuga, in Adawwah already, and all of them are doing well today. Ama, kan lọta ìkọ́ta fùfú, wọ́n mi tẹ̀lé ṣe tẹ́lọ̀. So, tábà tí wá help àwọn ọmọ wa tán lálẹ́, àwa gbé yàgò wọn torí àsìkíra. So wájú ṣọ́ọ̀bù wọn kí n paná ibẹ̀ la máa jókòó sí. Àmọ́ èmi yìí mi mọ mathematics rárá but ọ̀rẹ́ mi kò wá disgrace mi. Mi jẹ́ kí n lọ bí olùkọ́ fún mathematics. Ẹ̀mẹ́fà ni mo kọ WAEC 6 times. Ìgbà tí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní pass WAEC mi kí less than B. When I was writing initially mi kì í kàwé àbọ̀dá ni. So that is what I have seen that is happening here. So we need to build that reading culture in our children. Ṣé o pé ẹni tó fẹ́ sọ father sí ní ọmọ ìkéré ọmọ 1 year old kò lè sọ father náà wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní kọ́ láti tí pé ní ẹ̀fọn fún lọ́n pè é mẹ́. Because we now learn by morphemes. Because àti rí pé we Nigerians have speech deficiencies in pronouncing words, because words are better pronounced by sounds than the alphabet. Now, very, very, how often do you engage your children to read all this àwọn ìwé tó máa ń fún wọn láti primary school yìí. That is the first thing, because if you want to raise that generation of thought leaders that will go to the future, àti gbogbo àjọpọ̀ agree pé kò sí bóyá fẹ́ ṣe láì jẹ́ pé onítọ̀ máa study a máa kàwé. Ṣé wá rí ìwé kíkà tí wá easy sí torí kò tí láì page sí? There is hardly nothing that you cannot get on the internet now. Hardly nothing. In fact, mo ṣe parí master's degree mo wá interrogate artificial intelligence. Because as a lawyer, we now see that there is a problem in our justice system. How can we use AI to solve that problem? Mo wá rí pé wọ́n pe kí ní kan ní AI black box. AI black box is like this course. Tẹ́ ẹ bá fi ìkọ́ sínú course yẹn lè mú kúrò bẹ́ẹ̀. In law, wọ́n máa ń pè ní nemo that quod non abet. You cannot give what you don't have. That is it. Now, Google AI black box here, òun ni put information in. Because in Nigeria today, people are not putting their works online. So if you ask anything about Nigeria, half million go to US, half million go to UK, half million go to Australia, because Nigeria information is not online. So AI black box is where result down the research engine that you know Google say, àwọn ọlọ́dún tí wọ́n kọ kìíní yẹn sínú search engine yẹn. Ṣé ti get ìgbọ́n tí wọ́n sọ sí? There is always a supply side for people, for me, all of us, not anybody know. We are more on the demand side. Nobody àwọn professional mo lè rí pé ibi tí kìíní yẹn ti wọ́n wá ilé ni. Tẹ́ bá rí ọmọ tó máa ń ṣiṣẹ́ ilé. Alhamdulillah, I have 4 boys. My eldest son is 11 years old. Mo wá ní àbúrò wọn mi kan gbé ọ̀dọ̀ wa. Mo excuse ọmọ ìwé ìgbà mi. Torí mo rí pé tí àbúrò mi yẹn máa ń ṣiṣẹ́ mo máa tó kọ́nà ọ̀tí mi. Èyí fọ́ṣọ́ ẹ̀. Kò lè lálẹ́. Lè ṣe and very soon as the adult. Kí ló máa di? Ó máa di monster. Tí ò bá rẹ́ni bá ṣe any problem. So I set that lady for àgbà tí mo take decision yẹn wọ́n take wọ́n rò pé mo hate ọmọ yẹn kò ṣe pé mo hate ẹ̀ mi ìfẹ́ jókòó bá ẹ̀yin náà ẹ wo ìgbà tí àwọn tó bá fẹ́ yàn ní ẹ wo ọmọ tó máa fi ń tọ́ ọmọ àti ọmọ tí wọ́n fi ọmọ yẹn tọ́ ẹ kí rí yàtọ̀ ọmọ tí wọ́n fi ń sin ọmọ tí wọ́n àti ọmọ tí wọ́n fi ọmọ yẹn sìn ọmọ tí wọ́n fi ọmọ yẹn sìn ó máa di olè because ẹni tí ò ṣe síbi kan tó fẹ́ mú tó fẹ́ jẹ́ ẹsẹ̀ ẹ̀ kó lè lórí tọ̀ that is it ṣé wọ́n rí lẹ́yìn ìsìn ìbí àtàwọn oníṣẹ́ máa ń jà ọ́ in fact ọmọ mi wọ́n bọ́ ṣe tún léṣe tó bá kọ̀ dé láti school tó bá ti jọba àjù sílẹ̀ àbúrò mi yẹn ló máa gbé tó bá bọ́ sọ̀tù àbọ̀ sílẹ̀ àbúrò mi yẹn ló máa gbé wọ́n jókòó wàhálà lè léyìí o because ìgbà táwa wà ní secondary school ẹni tí aṣọ ẹ̀ ń lọ gé tọ́jú mo la fún máa ń ṣakọ àti máa ń ṣe kíníkan sí spider sẹ́yìn aṣọ bàbá mo wá rí pé ọmọ mi ò máa ṣe ọ́ lọ ọmọ 10 years old so I now began to train him conscientiously nítorí wọ́n sọ ní pé for us to build that future of the person that we want tomorrow we must conscientiously begin. Conscientiously mean pé àfọkànsí you must focus because kò sí nǹkan ẹ̀wọ̀n tí a fẹ́ ṣe exam tó bá jẹ́ pé a ti kàwé àti pé a fẹ́ ṣe exam ó wá fún 5 minutes to the exam ní 1 hour ní 2 days to the exam ẹ wá kà ṣe sentence tó kọ́ wá sọ nínú ọdún tí kàyẹ wọn kọ́ wájú wá. Mo dé thank you very much mo dé ká o irọ́ ni o. Torí kí ni ẹ ní ìdí àyè láti jókòó sí ó ní familiarity you must be conversant with whatever you want to achieve you must be close to it so tàbá training thought leader we must either in science or technology we must be conversant with whatever you are doing ó sọ pé tó ṣe bọ́ọ̀lù tàbí rìnrìn wọ́n ló try how many times 99 times Do you think that he was making a mistake all those 99 times? He was learning how better to do it. So by first 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 20 times, we stop. We may later have something like this. But ṣe wá lẹ́yìn ìgbà tí wọ́n wá ṣe bọ́ọ̀lù yẹn nígbà yẹn lọ Michael Faraday ẹ wòye ìgbà tí wọ́n ti ń tún ṣe tó fi di nǹkan tá a rí lélẹ̀. So it means that for us to be a thought leader a gbọ́dọ̀ já ọwọ́ níbi máa receive information. That now take me to the what kind of information do we receive. Ṣé ọgbà òye lo Facebook? I have a Facebook account and Facebook go give you pornography. But then she account in Facebook. They will tell you to select your preferences. And we have to click all. Never day China. In fact, you need to go to China. There was a time I was in the US. So I'm going to pornography course in the US. It's a lie. Before you get to the pornographic site in the US, you need a permission. In fact, you must subscribe. You must pay for it to show that you really want this thing. Go and share Yaba. Nigeria, you know what? You regulate the use of internet. So I want you all to go back to your social media accounts today and check back on your preferences. Check your preferences. Ewo Instagram, ewo àwọn tẹ́ ẹ follow on Instagram, because by selecting your preferences, you have built your own algorithm. Algorithm here ni mo ṣe máa ṣàlàyé ẹ̀. Òun ló máa ó dàbí pé èèyàn ń fa okùn fa ni. Ṣé o fẹ́ lórí Facebook yìí sìn? Tẹ bá jó lórí post kan, tẹ bá wò ó more than 10 seconds. The next day on scroll, the same thing ló máa do wá fún yín. You are telling that medium that you love that content. But if you move away from it, kò ní gbé that same thing wá fún yín. So information tá à ń receive òun ni ká wá lọ check nísìn. Can you ask yourself, what kind of information are you receiving today? Ẹ fún bọ́ra tó sún yẹn mic. Ẹ fún mic. Ẹ fún mic. Àwọn náà mọ̀. Now, irú information wo lẹ́yìn receive? Irú information wo lẹ́yìn receive? Lórí social media account yìí, àwọn information wo lẹ́yìn receive? Ṣé wọ́n pé lórí YouTube léde ṣe? You can change your preferences to show what your children want to be watching. On my own YouTube account, I've restricted my child to watching issues of science and technology alone. There was a time where I went to one school in Belumor and very bad. The specification that nílé search kọjá tó bá search go online kò ní gbé wá fún wọn because I have restricted their preferences. So to wá sọmọdé nìkan àwọn àtàjẹ adult náà, what are your preferences? Because sharing our own life, if you want to become that top leader in the future, you want to be Larry Page, you want to be Mark Zuckerberg, you want to be àwọn tàbí dárúkọ bí báyìí, you must check the kind of information that you are consuming. Very important. Ṣẹ́rí ọmọ ń pè kíní kan, ọmọ ń pè ní unintended consequences. Action tẹ̀ ṣe é sìn, ó máa mú two type of consequences wá. Consequences tẹ̀ intend àti tẹ̀ intend. Ṣé wọ́n rí the unintended consequences ó máa overshoot to ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ fún instance kan sí. Tí ẹ̀kọ́ bá dìde sí tó wá gba àfàwà ìlétí. Láàárín àwọn méjì ọ̀rọ̀ lè wà láàárín wọn pé òṣèkọ́ tó dùn mí o, mo gbá ẹ létí o. But àwọn tó ń rí wọn tó gbá wọn létí kí ló máa sọ? Hey, your blue lady, God bless you. Only the thing I do here, go correction with every brother. That's the truth. It may be an automatic reset for him to put him back on his feet. But I want to do when you're going to listen. I want unintended audience here. Consequence that here, see àwọn people yìí ni pé èèyàn burúkú ni ẹni yìí wọn dẹ̀ mọ nǹkan tí ẹni tó ṣe gangan wọn mọ intention tó fi ṣe. So how can we begin to tailor the information that we receive so that all of our unintended consequences will be that which is going to favour us? Jerry, there are two types of life that man live. We live an active life, a life of I want to do. And we live another what is called a passive life. A life that you don't say you don't want, but it will come to you. Science wájú pé wá pé téèyàn bá ń ka ìwé tó bá jókòó sí library for 6 hours. Wọ́n ní the highest time tó lè fi assimilate 40 minutes péré. Tó bá jókòó tó kàwé 6 hours. Èyí tó máa jókòó tó lè rántí bẹ́ẹ̀. Àbí tó máa assimilation kí ló ń assimilation náà ẹ help me. Understanding wọ́n ní àárín 40 minutes péré ló máa fi ní understanding kan tó kà fún 6 hours. Láfi lágbọ̀ọ́ yé kan tó kà fún 6 hours. How many of us have devoted 6 hours to reading something? So tó o bá devote 6 hours, let's say you devoted 1 hour, it means that 0. Tó bá devote 2 hours, 0. Tó bá dìbò 3 hours 0 wọ́n ní tó bá ka 400 words tó bá fẹ́ rántí láì jẹ́ gbogbo ẹ̀jẹ̀ 24 ló máa rántí bẹ̀ tó bá ka 400 words just reading in passing like this reading in passing kí ni pé tó fẹ́ máa type kò tẹ́lẹ̀ máa jí kan òsì ra wọn ṣe tó bá ìkẹta bá ìkẹta kẹsàrí type it's not possible so tó bá ka ọ̀rọ̀ 400 20 words ló máa rántí bẹ̀ actively wọ́n dẹ̀ ní àwọn yẹn wà fáwọn genius nìkan ló lè rántí. Hey, get it? So how do you want to become a top leader if you are not conversant with what you are doing? I bet you really don't know if you to the half is last 6 months ago. So she ṣá. 3 months. 1 year, 6 months. Láàrin 1 year 6 months here, ó máa tó how many hours? Ó máa tó máa memorize.
Yes, what result? Our command of valuation, daily memorization, very long hours.
Very long hours.
Very long hours. Fast to run.
So ẹ wá ṣí nínú 1 year and a half. Let's say 1 year and a half. How many hours ló wà nínú 1 year and a half here? Sorry, how many minutes ló wà there? So, for you to become a thought leader, for you to be respected in the field, you must be conversant. In fact, kí ni yẹn gbọ́dọ̀ di ọ̀rẹ́ yẹn? That takes me to the question of discipline. To talk to discipline, òun ni nǹkan tí ẹ like, but ẹ mọ̀ kó máa fún ní result, ẹ ṣe. Get you back to our life. Kò ń ṣe nǹkan tí ẹ like, but you must do it so that you can have results.
Apart from our way.
About àwẹ̀ gan kí lẹ sọ yìí àwẹ̀. Ẹ ti understand? Ẹ ti get this? So ìgbọ́n fún mi bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé how can you now become a leader? Let's go back to our definition. How can you be respected in any field, either in science or technology or culture, when you are not conversant with that thing? Another part of it is the sharing social media devices. Both men and women are responsible for their children. In fact, people don't dedicate time to train their children anymore. Is that the kind of leadership that we want for Islam? No. So because issues that we don't agree on are things that we want to regulate us. So I would advise, because I don't want to dig deep or go further on some of nǹkan tí mo ti yà sílẹ̀. Now, for us to be thought leader, you must be an inventor. And therefore, you must be someone that will create something. If you have not created, you must be someone that will look at that thing and say, how better can we do it? Those are innovators. What is she mọ́tò àbí? Ọ̀dùn fẹ́ ṣe ìdátẹ́mu wà nù ẹ̀. Àwọn àwọn mọ́tò yẹn, wọ́n máa wò. Can you get to that level without a dedication to knowledge? So I want to implore that first as parents, as young adults, we want a future that is better than ours because I am living a life that's better than my father's life. I don't know if there's anybody here that's living a life that is not better than their parents' life. Otis, because your parents sacrificed for you to get to this level. In fact, our mother wanted to work for you. Àgbà kan rí àwọn sídáì tí wọ́n gbúrú ìwọ̀n tí wọ́n dà lé. Ẹgbọ́rọ̀ yìí o, a máa ń rò pé dáadé ti wá burú ni. Àgbà táà ń rí àwọn sídáì wọ́n burú. Mo máa ń ṣe prison visit dáadáa. Mo rí ẹ̀ka tó dàgbà ládùúgbò nínú prison. Wàláì, àjọṣeré ládùúgbò, ògbórúkọ bò láṣẹré, ó wà ní prison. Tábà ń lọ skúl gbà ẹ̀wà sí lórúkọ ẹ̀. Mọ́mí rẹ̀ ń máa gbé tí wá ní òun ní lọ, kò ní lọ náà nìyẹn.
Orúkọ yìí padà káàsì. Orúkọ yìí padà káàsì.
Ó pọ̀, ṣe understand? Tí a bá lọ ṣe tutorial pé a fẹ́ ṣe kíní kan, oúnjẹ mọ́mí ń tà, ó máa jẹun, àwọn ajé owó mi ẹ̀ wá ṣe agbàkárí àwọn tí àwọn ìwọ̀n tán sincerely. Mo sọ̀rọ̀ yìí kìí ṣe one person kìí ṣe two person. Mo ṣe ń bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́. Mo ní ẹnì kan lájọ́ lọ Ijegun community hospital yìí. Ọjọ́ kan wọ́n drive kọjá ní kóòtù. Ó dẹ̀ gba owó mọ́tò. Mo ń ṣe national union. Ìgbà yẹn. Wọ́n ní level. But which of the levels do you think is comparable to your status? Ṣé gbogbo nǹkan kìí ṣe owó níní o? Ọjọ́ yẹn mo wá jókòó báyìí. Àwọn máa ń play ball. Àwọn máa ń gba betting. So máa bet ilé máa score ilé score. Tọ́ba lé wa wọnú class, animal kọ́ máa ń traditional. Ó máa ń fẹ́ gba lé wa káàkiri. Tọ́ba ti lé wa, àwọn máa kò sí gbà yẹn. Wọ́n ti mú first, wọ́n ti lọ sí wọn. School 2 lẹ́yìn ìsìn mo lè máa ń lówó tó but so many things ni mo ní tí kò ní so many places ni mo lè wọ̀ tí kò lè wọ̀ so that is a summation of how that person has used his youthful days result ẹ̀ nílé ìtú mi ṣe ń dùn ní pé tabalẹ̀ yọ̀ngàn tó ti ju 40 lọ gathering ni ẹni yẹn ṣì ní reason láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní change the path ẹ̀ to that path that the person really wants in the future. Ṣé understand? Mo máa fún yín ní another instance. Ìgbà tí mo wà ní àdúgbò tó ní láti wá kọ́lé Sango àwọn bọ́ọ̀sì fún aládùúgbò wa ń gbà yẹn. Ṣé kí ẹ jẹ́ kí ló di politest word wọ́n sọ pé àwọn ṣe yahoo. Ọjọ́ kan wá lọ sí EFCC mo lọ rí client mi gan. So àwọn ládùúgbò lẹ́kẹ̀ẹ́rẹ́ orúkọ náà wọ́n kéde wọ́n á ní Yusuf fẹ̀. Ẹni mo sọ fún ọ̀gá yẹn. Bó ṣe rí báyìí ó dẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní sunkún. Ó ti lówó ó ti ṣe in fact lọ́yà tó gbà ó ti gbà èmi wọn padà lo skills mi láti gbà jáde kúrò ní ẹsẹ̀ ọ̀sọ̀rọ̀. Ṣé rí tó bá sọ pé all that glitter is not gold is the truth o. So the summary of what I'm saying is let us be deliberate as to the information that we receive, either in real life or in social media, because they form who we become in the future. The second thing is, let us as young parents pay serious attention to our children, because those children will become your future. If you are not a thought leader today, there is nothing that is stopping you from raising your own children as a leader of thought in the future. There are thought leaders in the country. We can mention local in American. Shall we thought leader? So that's all on the real Biafra. You go countryman, is that the kind of thought that we want our children to live? Is that the kind of thought that we want to bring? No. Because there are positive thoughts and there are negative thoughts. There are positive ones and there are negative ones. But there are some negative ones that you surround and they let go. Now, deliberately, we must begin to see how we create that positive thought amongst us, amongst our family, amongst our children. Now, for you to be a thought leader, you must build influence. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n lo sample kan. Ṣé ẹni tó ń ná ìyàwó ẹ̀ lé lè sọ̀rọ̀ bá marriage? Abẹ́ni tó máa ń bú ọkọ ẹ̀ lé? Abẹ́ni tó ń bú ọkọ ẹ̀ lé lè sọ̀rọ̀ bá marriage? Kí lẹ wí mà? Cherry, God bless you. That leads me to what we see that is not the truth. Cherry, and when you come back, they are an opposite of what they preach. Cherry, you don't preach in your house. That's the truth. Also new. It is a way of life for them to eventually everything. But the Babylon need no common and keep as you want to sit down. So because someone has mentioned accountability today, how do you want to become that person that you are inside out, a true to what you are? And for the time when you must story you, when you must story you, why you? And some people, and when you must story you, what you are. You understand? So let us begin to do the proper thing for ourselves, so that we can be authentic. That leads me to, if you are a thought leader, you must be an authentic person. Share what you want to live life ọ̀tọ̀ yẹn. Ẹ̀mọ̀ kan tó ń pè ní fluke dàbí bí ìwà débi kọ̀dákẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà fẹ́ kò sí bọ́n ṣe lè lọ àbítọ́ ga tó pẹ̀lú lọ́tọ́ pa yẹn. Ṣé ọjọ́ kan tí sọ ọ̀bẹ bá jáde, that is the end of who they are. And that's why you see that people don't believe pastors, people don't believe some of that, because they are a direct opposite of whatever they preach. So those are the qualities. I'm not talking about the qualities of a thought leader. I've mentioned influence, I've mentioned innovation, I've mentioned authenticity. You must be authentic. Now, before you can now be a thought leader, I take you to the next line up. How do you build trust? So for you to be a thought leader too, you must be able to first earn people's trust, then build that trust. If you for example for Chechire to do to buy a mark. Tó ti wé wò nínú exam. Nínú exam. Tó ti wé wò. Nínú bias man. No. Àní ẹni tó gbé ìwé sábẹ́ báyìí. Gẹ́gẹ́ tí mo sọ. Hello. Ẹlísìlò. Ẹlísìlò. Ó gbé sí orí tọ́ báyìí. Ó lè bá yẹ̀. Àbí ó kọ́ sí kan. Ẹgbẹ́ ilé sí o. Àbó kọ́ sí kan. Àbó kọ́ sí tébù.
Àbó kọ́ sọ́wọ́.
Wọ́n náà. Ẹjẹ́ ti sọ́rí bèèrè báyẹ̀ fún yí. Ẹjẹ́ ti sọ́rí bèèrè. Ti ti lè rà. Ṣẹ́rí, oya, mo wà ó ti àgbí tẹ̀lú ní o. Mo àgbí tẹ̀lú ní o. Tó possible, Senator, tó gbé sí abẹ́ ìjọba. Now, ẹ jẹ́ kí fún yín ní ìjọ possible. One, ọkọ̀balẹ̀. Get to do something. Kò ní ní ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀. That is one. Number two, kò ní ní believe nínú nǹkan tó ń ṣe. Ṣẹ́rí tí ẹ bá ka ìwé tí nǹkan tó kọ́ bá dá lójú, a máa kọ́ lọ ní. Pẹ̀lú tó ń ṣe bá bóyá ṣe o, ó máa lose time. Kò ní ní concentration. Báyìí sóni kò lè gba ayẹ ní ìmọ̀ tó bá lè jọ.
Alhamdulillah. Thank God that we went to exhibition. It has happened before. Although we contest one fact. But ṣe rí àwọn kan wà ẹgbàgbé. One night alive. Mo as in man imagine pé àwọn ilé bẹ́ẹ̀ ní wọ́n ní àyàbá.
Ọlọ́run fi rán wọn ni.
Ẹ jẹ́ fún ilé ìdàpọ̀ kan, iṣẹ́ ẹ̀fọ́ ní mid course ni. Iṣẹ́ ẹ̀ náà kò jẹ́ mi. Mo ti kápá kò jẹ́ mi. Wọ́n á pè kí ni mo lè ṣe. Wọ́n á rí pé àwọn kan mo ti kú sẹ́ẹ̀tì yẹn lọ kí n láti iṣẹ́ yẹn 3-1. Wọ́n ti wá tó ti pé wa ọ̀pọ̀tọ́ lọ́wọ́ fi ẹ̀bùn wa ní pé departmental ló kọ́ fi ṣe kọ́ mo wá ní pé visa ní àkáǹtì àbíkọ̀ kọ́ báyìí. Mo wá jókòó ó wá ní sísá mi kan òun mọṣẹ́ yẹn fún mo tẹ̀lé òun ló dìde kíláàsì wa mo wọ́n tá fi wá ṣúgbà ẹ̀ ní ilé bàbá ọ̀gá fún ní kọ̀ọ̀sì níṣẹ́ yìí last final year báwo ni kò ṣe é pé kọ́ báyìí wọ́n gbọ́ pé carry over mi ní pàápàá fún mo jókòó sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ báyìí ó jókòó báyìí wọ́n sì wọ́n á jókòó báyìí kò lè kọ́ pé fine mo ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn ẹ máa gbọ́ mo iṣẹ́ yẹn ṣé wàá nínú ọ̀lù nínú iṣẹ́ yẹn èmi ò ní fọkànbalẹ̀ tó mò ń kọ́pì ẹ̀ ṣe understand iṣẹ́ yẹn ọ̀padà ká mi ò tẹ́fọ́ mi kó lè dábọ̀ ṣe yẹn but pẹ̀lú kéèsì ọlọ́run wàhálà ìmọ̀ state tù ṣé wàá lè kó àwọn àjù yẹn mi ì mọ bóyá ẹ̀ tó ní wàhálà ó gbèrò ọ̀dẹ̀ ní nínú àwọn fi pé mo lọ́tìsì kankan ìdílé bọ̀ yẹn tí ìdílé fún wa ó fi pé ọ̀dọ́ àwọn àjù wọ́n mọ̀wé àwọn tó wà lẹ́yìn àárín lọ́lẹ̀ tí ó ń kọ́ fún kọ́ọ̀sì ilé tí ó ti ṣe ẹ̀tàn ní ìbá fún sísá mi bọ́lá tó ti ní bẹ́ẹ̀ pé wọ́n ló ní ìdìbò bẹ́ẹ̀ pé lẹ́yìn sí sísá mi yẹn wọ́n ló olùgbà yes olùgbà yes lẹ́tọ́ ẹ̀ gan kù pé kí ni wọ́n ti olùgbà yes olùgbà lẹ́yìn sísá mi olùgbà sẹ́kọ̀ yes nínú ẹ̀bá tó ṣẹlẹ̀.
ṣé ẹ̀mọ̀ nǹkan tó ń pè ní cheat ni ilé ti lọ síbẹ̀ ni pé when you talk about building trust you can never cheat one house please one house.
Asitolila.
Jerry, you can never cheat your way to the top. You can never cheat your way to the top. Then one house. Jerry, I've been learning. You understand? We said come on, forget.
Tinubu, oh shit, way to the top.
Oh yeah, how?
So election, yes, election.
I know when a genius cheats, like always dramatically, so bad cheat, oh my friend way to the top. It's although that I know that they cannot cheat at ẹni tí ó bá mọ̀wé tó mọ̀ pé òun ò lè gbé ìwé yẹn sórí legal limit yẹn tó bá gbé ìwé yẹn ó máa gbé dé ayẹ but ẹni tó yẹ kó lódò ni máa jíwèé wọn ó kàn máa pass the gbà.
Ẹ jẹ́ kí Jerry, one hour. Jerry, one hour.
Asitolila. Edab, one house, please. Edab to your long. One house, please, for Allah's sake.
Also, tó bá cheat ọlọ́ ẹni ẹ̀ma dé tọ̀ ṣé rí mọ ok ìgbà tí mo fẹ́ fún yín ní instance kan mo wà ní law school a máa ń ṣe 100 topics in 20 weeks ní ìmọ̀ exam professional mi o but as far as I'm concerned law school exam ló lè àwọn èèyàn ṣe wọn dákú in fact nínú exam lóòrùdé ni mo sọ lèmi ẹ tó tẹ̀lé mi ẹ tó wà before mi ó wà pọ̀ lórúkọ ẹ̀ nínú exam ó dákú torí pé ó ti mú àwọn Nescafe kó lè kàwé for a number of days ẹ ti understand kí ni yẹn ti wà lára ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n àtà débẹ̀ exam tí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní kọ kí ni yẹn ó wẹ̀ ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbọ́n nìyẹn kẹtọ́ mo bá rí ó dákú mi. He got away from there because he was trying to cheat. He was trying to cheat nature. Cherry ẹni tó jẹ́ genius tẹ́ sọ yìí àbí ẹni tí ò kà sí ní ìlú ìpè sọ pé báyìí kìíní báyìí wà. So ẹni yẹn ò cheat, ẹni yẹn ti put in the work. The first thing ni ó ti mọ content ìwé ó ti mọ ibi tó fẹ́ ṣe ó ti mọ ibi tó wà. So that person is not a cheat. Ọmọ ẹjọ́ pé cheat ni. A cheat is ẹni tí ò ṣe sí nìkan tó fẹ́ jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Cheat yẹn kò kàwé yẹn rárá. Ó wá gbé wọlé exam. Ẹ torí pé ó fẹ́ jẹ tí ò ti ṣe. Example.
Based on what you cannot see to the top. I want to support what you said. For Minister of Finance, Adaptation, he want to be disqualified all because of NYSC. Now, over there, maybe NYSC. But if I talk about the detect the way for the NYSC certificate, kilo padà ṣe work padà. The father cannot cheat to the top. Support to that.
Now, Shewari. Ṣe ní sábà pé èèyàn ní genius ṣe mo mí ní nǹkan tó pè genius ẹni tó wà genuine Ṣé tí o bá wá genuine, ẹni ẹ jẹ́ original, kì í ṣe fake. Now for you to be genuine, ẹ wo iye paint kan fún ma print page yìí. Wọ́n photocopy ẹ̀ ṣé the same kind of, ṣé the same number of paint. Ṣé o máa gbé red wá, o máa gbé blue wá, o máa gbé. Those are the difference between a genius and again. So there is no way. Ṣé ní ọ̀rọ̀ ti mú ẹ̀yẹ kí n fún yín ní instance I've had a counter with him before he became president. Tinubu knew that I was going to be president of this country. Oh no, sorry, after plan. He was planning to become the president of this country every day. And to put his plan to realization, Emokoto Kishibu Rashid Ladoja, 1 year Rashid Ladoja as governor. Tinubu did a court on his behalf. Láti sponsor litigation ẹ̀ kan fi dágbà àbíjà padà síbẹ̀. Kí ni Tinubu ṣe yẹn? Ó ṣe iṣẹ́ síbẹ̀. When Ladoja was in another party, he could not but support Tinubu. That's one. Ìgbà tí Ọbásanjọ́ fẹ́ pa Fáyọ̀ṣe tó drag Fáyọ̀ṣe, gbogbo ẹ̀ fún àwọn instance kékeré kan ní o. Tinubu pè Fáyọ̀ṣe pé I can help you. He helped Fáyọ̀ṣe. When Fayemi was misbehaving in the state, when we did our own school struggle in last week, he supported Fayose against Fayemi. Get it? Fayose can never talk bad about Tinubu today. Nílẹ̀ Yorùbá nìyẹn o. There is one honourable Abo. He's from Adamawa State. When he wanted to become senator from Adamawa State, House of Rep first, he lost the ticket, but Tinubu sponsored the election. So what is putting in solo so many things. Ẹni tó fẹ́ ṣe leader ò ní háwọ́, Tinubu ò háwọ́. There was nobody that met Tinubu, including me, that would not give him money. Ṣé ẹ get? Ní táwọn ṣe gbangba yìí pé àwa ṣe struggle lọ́wọ́. They offered us 2 million naira cash. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So what you want to say in essence is pé kò sí èèyàn tó máa fẹ́ lọ sókè báyìí tó ní put in the work. It now depends on ibi téèyàn fẹ́ dé láyé. Ó dàbí obìnrin tó fẹ́ gbowó lọ́wọ́ kan ni. Mo níyàwó, ó lè. Ìyàwó mi lè fún mi bọ́ báyìí lórí fún. Ayẹyẹ get now, ó sọ àbí sọ̀tọ̀ ní fóònù lówó. Àbí mo parọ́ tó bá tọ́ ẹ orí bẹ̀rẹ̀ sọ fún mi o. Àwọn ti gbà á náà ni. Kò dẹ̀ sí ọkùnrin tó fẹ́ fẹ́ obìnrin náà tó fẹ́ fẹ́ obìnrin. Ẹ mọ̀, àwọn ọkùnrin má dàbí mò ń tó máa ń tó sí obìnrin àti. So what I'm saying, that in itself is putting in the work. It is an act of discipline. Obìnrin tó fẹ́ fẹ́ wà á pè láàárọ̀, wà á pè lọ́sàn, wà á pè lálẹ́. Wà á tún pè lóru. Ṣé tí bá bèrè lọ́wọ́ yín, ordinarily do you want to call that person? Ordinarily wáyé gbé bọ́ coffee your leg with your free will. It is not you want to call that person. But because that is the work that you must do to get what you want, you put it in. Because you want to get that thing, you need discipline to get that work done. If I look at government, 7 o'clock láàárọ̀ bí ìyàwó mi complain. Ó nígbà tí mo ti fẹ́ràn mi kí tóun láàárọ̀. Èkí tóun lálẹ́ wọn. Nígbọ́. So, ìgbà tí wọ́n fà yọ ni pé because we want to be leaders of thought, because we want to change society, we must be disciplined, we must be able to put in the work, we must be genuine, we must be close to whatever we are doing, and we must know the kind of information that we receive. Thank you very much.
Kabirullah, jazakum
الله خيرا.
جزاكم الله خيرا.
جزاكم الله خيرا.
يا ربي جزاكم الله خيرا. Thank you for imparting us from your wealth of knowledge. We so much appreciate you. We adore your wonderful speech. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His infinite mercy continue to guide you, protect you, and bless you. Bija ila hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-azim. Ajo ki bismillahi ala nasra fún wa. O máa ń sọ kankan kẹ́ bá wọn fún wa ti máa ń sọ fún wa. Àfọ máa sọ pé mi kankan yín kí ó lásán. Ń gbé kẹ́ wá pọ̀ máa mú chọ́ọ̀kì kẹ́ wá máa kọ́ àwọn ọmọ. Mo fẹ́ kí lọ́ọ̀yà wà láàrin yín. Mo fẹ́ kí dókítà wà láàrin yín. Mo fẹ́ kí engineer because Islam needs gbogbo field láti need àwọn èèyàn. One of our brothers tí wọ́n wá lánàá sí Dr. Gap tó wá lánàá. Àjọ nígbà àtàjọ jáde our make our conversation is a wonderful person. Our make our conversation sọ pé association of àwọn tí wọ́n study English language. Wọ́n ní àwọn tí nínú association wọ́n ní àwọn best limited. Wọ́n wá ń sọ kankan pé àwọn táwọn tí wá nínú àwọn táwọn tí wá ní limitation yẹn àwọn táwọn tí wá lẹ́nu láti lè gbé àwọn ti sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn méjì ni. He mentioned somebody that I am opportune to know very well, Professor Mahfouz. Professor Mahfouz Adedimechi. He happened to be an uncle to one of my colleagues at the Lomokas. So, mo wá sọ pé ìtọ́ ìkó jẹ́ professor táwọn bá wà ní group yẹn tí àwọn èèyàn bá bá wọn fa wàhálà òun nìkan nígbà ọjọ́ kan wá sọ pé why are you so passionate about my issue? Wọ́n ní mélòó ni wá tí mi ò fi ní gbèjà ẹ̀. So I need Islam ní every angle. Nǹkan nínú nǹkan tí wọ́n sọ fún wa lẹ́nu yẹn kásẹ̀pá tó jà afẹ́ protest ìjàre ṣé àti láwọn èèyàn tó jẹ́ substitute fún mi tàbí protest fún yẹn. Láfi gbọ́dọ̀ máa ṣàdúrà fún pé kí ìròyìn má jábọ́ láéláé. Ọlọ́kú dákun ọlọ́mà jẹ́ jábọ́ láéláé. Jẹ́ kí ìròyìn jẹ́ kó pọ̀ láwùjọ. Wàlálà ilaha illallah. Allah ó yẹ Islam. Wàlá ó yẹ Islam. Mo ní ìyá kan tó lọ́wọ́ ní kí n súnmọ́ dáadáa. She's a justice for my branch. I'm very close to her. Inú mi máa ń dùn ní pé kò sí program kan tá a fẹ́ sọ fún kódà program tá a ṣe yìí just a call ní ọlọ́run dẹ́ni kí wọ́n ṣe ìgbàlá bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe wá. She's always passionate about everything that has to do with Islam because wọ́n máa ń sọ fún mi pé ọjọ́ tá a yọ sọ̀rọ̀ last week mo opportunity láti máa kọ́ àwọn ọmọ ní kí wọ́n ní nǹkan tó máa ń bá àwọn ọmọ jẹ́ jù pé àwọn fẹ́ give rulings of judgment. She's a Justice Mariam Olayinka. She said most of our rulings náà máa give to bá lọ gbà mí máa ní wọ́n pé wọ́n wà sad ní bá lọ sọ́dọ̀ láti lọ tẹ̀ka wọn máa ní kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ wá ní about 80% ẹjọ́ tó wà wájú àwọn their Muslim cases. Their Muslim cases I visited Ikoyi prison correctional center about 2 weeks. Àwọn barrister Fuji kìíní kan wọ́n pè mí fún admonition fún àwọn inmates. When we got there, in short, ó bà nínú jẹ́ púpọ̀. I was emotional to some point ṣe pé nígbà tí mo give lecture lọ I just have to pen the lecture because mo wò pé níbo la bá dé àwọn mùsùlùmí ká tó máa sọ pé ìṣòkòtò ẹnìkan ò tó lẹ̀ kíníkan ò tó lẹ̀ why don't we look at the way táwọn máa fi àwọn èèyàn wa ló ń fa gbó káàkiri àwọn èèyàn ló wà ní drug abuse how do we stop those things first before we start fighting ourselves over things that are irrelevant. Ọlọ́run kó dáàbò má jẹ jábọ́ láéláé Ọlọ́run má jẹ jábọ́ àjọṣe bísímíláì náà àpò iná fún wọn Ọlọ́run kó dáàbò ọba tó já sí pé àwọn tó ti ga níbi iṣẹ́ tẹ́ ṣe yìí Ọlọ́run ló gbé wọn síbẹ̀ wà láìkò sọgbọ́n orí Ọlọ́run kó dáàbò nínú táwa náà máa wò lókè Ọlọ́run dàgbà àkàwọn yìí kó wọn wàlálà ilaha illallah wàlá bísímíláì náà àpò iná bísímíláì rahmanir rahim. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. أعطاني كان ọlọ́mọ àṣìbẹ́ kọ́ dísáìnì èyí tó bá wù wọ́n ẹ̀yìn tó bá wù wọ́n bẹ́ẹ̀ because àwọn ẹlẹ́nu ló gbá justice ń kíbu wa ó kíbu wa ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́ka sínú advocate ọlọ́run á bá wa ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ èyí tẹ́ fẹ́ lọ́lọ́run á bá wa ṣe fún yín. In few minutes, entertain question and answer. Number one, number two. Do you have any other person? Yes, they said you have to ask question outside the topic. Yes, we are free. Allah, but one full Allah of our privilege. We have number 3, number 1, number 2, number 3. Inshallah, okay. So, a lot of our sisters were, our sisters were what you need number 4. Our sisters were ọ̀rọ̀ taxi. Nígbà tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ taxi, wọ́n pèrè àwọn tàmáyà. A ṣe lecture taxi. Àwọn náà pèrè question jù. So we have 4 people, inshallah. Our former name from Alabuko, the Education Secretary of Alabuko. Thank you. Eba been to your long. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I want to thank you for the wonderful speech. You have really carried us, take us through some things we need to know. I just want to chip in something before I ask my question. I'm an educator, and as an educationist, we are told that there is no dull child. And tí àbádẹ́ ní dull child nínú class, àwọn nǹkan kan tí gbẹ́tù àwọn ọ̀dẹ̀ ti kọ́ wa tó máa ń tó fà kí ọmọ mi ṣì wà wù. Lẹ́nu bóyá kò fi ẹ̀kọ́ mọ̀ tí ò lè tí ò mọ̀ ó ní pé ọ̀dà pé nígbà tí wà á lọ sí school a ní àwọn counselors in school, but nowadays especially now we have more private school. Then private school tó wà nígbà yẹn kò tó ó kéré sí kan sí anílẹ̀sìn. Mo bá ṣe ìrántí dáadáa nígbà táwọn wà ní school gbà yẹn tàbá ti ń ṣeré jù àwọn counselors ní máa wọnú kíláàsì wa wọ́n máa cancel wa wọ́n bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ kódà first 20 elements tí mo ṣe há sórí lè ní wọ́n lọ jókòó fúnra mi wọ́n fi kọ́ orin àti mo fi kọ́ orin tẹ́ pé mo lè lẹ́yìn ara nǹkan tí àwọn counselors tó ṣe fún wa nígbà yẹn, but nowadays we don't have counselors even in our homes àwọn parents wa náà ní time kí bàbá mi aléṣẹ́ lè tí mo ti lọ látàárọ̀ ẹ̀yẹn tí mo ti wá lọ́ṣẹ́ máa tẹ́tẹ́ tó mú lọ ní fẹ́ máa dìbò láti máa cancel ọmọ kan. So ọ̀nà owó ní ẹ̀ lè gbà gẹ́gẹ́ bí barista láti help in that regard of counseling either in schools or in different schools. Then secondly, ìgbà tẹ́ ẹ̀ sọ lórí top leader sọ̀kan lórí types of life any active life and passive life ẹ jẹ́ bá mi expatiate more lórí ẹ̀. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, cut it.
My question will be kind of specific at I got. I was first and foremost is this: when the struggle of last year was going on, especially the school fee, which went from 25,000 to 300,000. I want to ask, you said a thoughtful leader, Keto the union president, Lasusu, no, the Lasusu which I know, AY, prayer time, was one of my mentors then. In the end of the career, Abada Akim is part of our national level, follow our care. Nígbà yẹn lọ bọ̀dá kì í máa ń wọ wa níṣẹ́ kan àmọ́ ò pé sọ́mọ́ lọ kó bàtà wa ní White House àmọ́ kí ló wà pé ẹ̀yìn ìlú yìí and when we were growing up mo rí pé táìmì ó fẹ́ràn wa torí ibà lè mi gbé tábà lọ school tọ́wọ́ mọ́tò bá gbé sí 50 naira wọ́n máa ń para kó wa gbọ́ kó wọn lọ kó tún padà wá kó wa a lè sọ wọn school báyìí a máa ń lè so as a principal leader mo pe ẹ̀kọ́ ti rò pé Lasusu ni mo gbọ́ yìí and I could remember Lasusu ò ṣe ẹ̀rọ kékeré when it was Iba and Lasusu students mo mọ̀ ọ́ tí bá fi ojú Lasusu students rí and cultists especially number 1 ni Lasusu gbà ẹ̀ lọ so I know you thought of you becoming a president of Lasusu thought ìkànnì ẹ̀ lọ́tọ̀ ìgbà tó wá di president. The ruler value of the most challenging aspect is mo náà ọmọ tí ó wà níwájú àìtọ́ wà admission which in that aspect of struggle wọ́n lose admission yẹn tó take one like 2 years kó tó padà sí lásù ètò wọn how they should navigate within your faith because I know you are a Muslim number one yẹn your family our political gavas because I was watching your channels during that protest you said they are not going to give up that it is not about you it is about the next generation and alhamdulilayi rabbil alamin you fought it mo rántí pé news ìpè wa the offer union a sum of amount Fashola pay but still yet you rejected carry your day before the day you wan school àánú máa ń gbowó àdèmá ti school so at the end of the day you were able to how do you navigate and eventually you achieve your goals as the president and that school will remain 25,000. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think we will learn from your leadership as well.
Sherry, I have come to understand something in society. One question, two questions. From the first brother, how do we have counseling meetings? Sherry ọ̀rọ̀ tí ẹ sọ yìí mo rántí pé mo sọ pé Ijegun ni mo lọ. A máa ń ṣe àwọn extra program.
A sì tún lè la ẹjọ́ kájọ lẹ́sìn sí.
They asked me what do you want to become? I said I want to become an accountant. That was my dream. But it was life that brought me back to law. But we still think, in fact, anything put in top perspective. I want to do something to be my dad as a lawyer, child, and an accountant. Foundation. And to see college of education. 2006, I gained admission to Oyo State College of Education, now with the Manuel Education. Our student union deal, 100 naira student union deal now. So we collect to us. Our gba 110 naira lọ́wọ́ wa. Our ní 10 naira yẹn is for teller's fee. Teller kan ló gbà. Truth be told, mo lówó yẹn o. Àmọ́ ọgbẹ́ teller ti máa wọ bank ti máa mú fún àtúntò. Àwọn ní tẹ owó tá a máa lọ fi san. Àwọn yẹn tó máa fi 10 naira kó owó jẹ. Mo ṣe ti ilé ìtẹ̀lé wọn. Kẹ̀kẹ̀kẹ̀ àwọn bá lò pé mo máa ra tàbí mo ní bí o ṣe máa ra tàbí mo ní kó tí o dá ní o pé wọ́n fẹ́ máa we are talking about thousands of students. We are talking about more than 20,000 people paying that illegal fee. Ọ̀yọ́ ọ̀gá ní àkè kú lọ di èyí kọ́ ló sọ bí eré àti kan ló sọ lóyà lóyà kọ́ lọ ṣe o. Ṣé because ká ní mi sọ fáwọn ni wọ́n ṣe máa gba wọ́n 10 naira lọ́wọ́ tó má dẹ̀ fún yín sí má bọ̀ fún yín sí 100 naira kò ní sí 10 naira yẹn bẹ̀. So ìyẹn ni ìyẹn fún àwọn òbí àbíyá ti lọ ṣe lọ. Wọ́n tó bá yẹ pé wọ́n béèrè lọ́wọ́ mi I actually wanted to be an accountant. So ìgbésọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ mi ni pé counseling ayé ló yọ. Ìgbà tí mo wà ní Ijegun nígbà I used to be not the best student because máa ṣe nípa kan máa ń play ball máa ń ṣe báyìí ball. Accountant mo fẹ́ dìbò létí àwọn tíṣà mi sọ pé mo good ní accounting commerce and economics. No, àwọn náà ṣé wọ́n wrong at that time wọ́n wrong because they saw my capability. One of them is Mrs. Kokola nínú ìwé ṣe ìṣòro àwọn Mr. Osman àwọn náà gbé àfihàn ṣe iṣẹ́ because ọmọ kan so bó ṣe máa wá get it back on track. I would say that maybe ọmọ kékeré kan ní civil society actors people campaign for the government society who are not part of the government. Maybe we should begin to raise campaigns in that regard. now that we have so many diverse courses, so we are going to do law, we are going to do law. Because money or information management, variety, oh no. Wọ́n ṣe owó díẹ̀ lórí ọ̀ kí ọmọ ara lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ bí ìyọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan náà ẹ̀wọ̀n pé owó ẹ̀ rẹ̀ ẹ̀ ti understand ìkíní kan information management ìkíní commission àwọn àti ní àwọn IT courses ṣé wọ́n pé ọmọ ìkéré lè kó ṣé wọ́n pé you can get as a parent to channel your children's energy to whatever they want them to do. So if you pay, if the government is not doing it, maybe allow you to máa jọ tó máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní sọ fún wa ṣe kí ló dé ṣe nǹkan bá torí pé ó ní benefit for society and that again is goes back to our lecture to say that you can actually be a thought leader in that area to begin to write, create content around it and let the government say why they can. Because in the end, go about the shaking here, you can't ignore it. To say you led a campaign for creation of counseling units in secondary school or primary schools. And for you to be able to do it, you will have learned about it. Probably in your little way, start doing it and begin to show results for it. Just understand? If you ask me today, if you say, can pay for 10 years in the lawyer. I'm telling you, I won't be a lawyer. And go to one million, you know, somebody kill my shape. So the rental and lawyer, I won't be a lawyer. So maybe we can begin to, starting from you now, taking up the responsibility in your own schools, with your own children, and so on and so forth. Begin to lead that campaign because ṣẹ́rí nǹkan ti bàjẹ́ ní society wa yìí àwọn nǹkan àti government ti fi ilẹ̀ fáwọn private arms tó máa ṣe we received a complaint against the private university in Nigeria the university yẹn in the whole of the department lecturer kan ló wà ní yes a university in Nigeria. One of our presentation students don't complain for wa only students in 8 only ọmọ akálùkù fún àwọn ọ̀wá ẹ̀jẹ̀ as per presentation ṣe lọ pé presentation come 1 to 4 years ẹ̀jẹ̀ so time ni wọ́n á kó fáwọn ọ̀wá gbígbígbígbí wọ́n á kó wọ́n ṣe fún ìgbésí wọ́n bá ti lọ ìgbọ́kẹ́ káwọn mọ̀ ní pé lecturer yìí ọkọ yẹn ní wọ́n bá gba àwọn tó wà ní ìgbésí òun la kọ́ wọn ní ilé òun la gbogbo iṣẹ́ tó jẹ́ lẹ́yìn iṣẹ́ tó ń yá ní other faculty àti other department òun ló ń kọ́ wọn ní major courses àwọn ló kọ́ ma strolling bóyá 11 o'clock bóyá 8 o'clock akọ̀dé time tó wù tó bá ṣe ń kọ́ yín ní kíní kan tó ń sùn akárẹ́kọ̀ course akọ̀ kẹta nínú and to understand a private university in Nigeria. So, in the work from our debate, we now had took action on the short, finally the short, up and down. For the next 10 years, on the form, see any new rapid action, so we our no. In the end, continue or what are the convocation? One day I want to call on let's get with you. So we must begin as individuals to take action in our own spaces so that some of these things can happen. So that is now sharing active life. Only life take a decide you can do. Passive life, only life community society don't buy and then low as a result of your community, your society, or your environment. Let me say environment generally. And to want to see me doing fast dancing. She will not need to take fast cigar, but be a agenda. I'm going to passive smokers. She will say, if that was smoke, you're going to know what dangerous is. So your passive life is as a result of the environment that you find yourself. But your active life is the part of your life that you take, that you have the ownership of. You understand? And Charlie Shiva is very well for you. You take action. You take time, you take action. And when you but you got to know what you're in the youth of nowadays, you start to know only 10% of our life now live as an active life. The 90% comes from. You understand? So you're going to show in your barren, you're show in your barren, you're show at the beginning of my belongs. Because whether or not you like it, you will become, and then you will understand. You're going to Alpha. I'm going to Alpha of the River. Alpha 2. Alpha 2. All that you have to run. One tó ń gbọ́ àṣàkẹ́ kókò ní gbọ́ àṣàkẹ́ gbọ́ àṣàkẹ́ ó máa jókòó síbẹ̀ fún 6 hours of the time 10 hours of the time. Èwo ló máa dúró nínú pùrọ́fìtì ha àti àṣàkẹ́ ní ìjọ tó fẹ́ lánú sọ̀rọ̀ you are a reflection of that your passive life. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí dàbí ọ̀rọ̀ lady kan nígbà tó wà lásìkò. Ọ̀rọ̀ ó ń gbé MSN Muslim ní but ó wá fẹ́ máa borí ó máa torí pé àwọn tó ń jọ gbé hostel ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ìwú abẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ni ìgbà tó dé ní ìgbòho ṣe understand so nǹkan tó mean by passive life ni pé ilé ayé tí à ń gbé tó wà as a result kíyàn lè raise juniors in the garage juniors kíyàn lè raise in the garage juniors tó gbọ́dọ̀ wá jẹ́ a place of isolation. I understand that if you are also our 14 and you stay one 2 bedroom flat ilé kàwé eré pani gist ní àwọn fẹ́ ká wọn serious gbogbo àwọn ìsìnkú àti exam ẹ̀wà nínú pamọ́ so omi ìpè tẹ bá wo life can live in life passively the reflection àwọn ẹni yẹn ṣe máa jẹ́ ìṣe máa jẹ́ actively ìgbàdé take decision ìpọ̀jẹ́ ní jẹ́ so you must allow in fact wọ́n ní pé there is nobody wọ́n ní in fact wọ́n ní ẹ̀yìn balance méjèèjì so but kéèyàn gbìyànjú pé more of your active life. Because active life is a life of discipline. You be conscious, you be focused, you be determined. Only you will balance it. Tó bá wà tún ṣe kí ní jù wọ́n sọ pé ó wà principle àti ó wà tún nìyí. Tó bá so again you go dance what I mean by those action of active life. Ṣé wọ́n lè wọ́n láti stroke? Ọ̀rọ̀ lálẹ́ bèrè yẹn o. In fact, I just want to recount the experience last week in your home. Maybe I can call me. It is a whole lot. I didn't set up the student union president. I wanted to become faculty of law president. Àwọn tó wà lára àwọn abẹ́ṣẹ́ká. Àwọn òbí wọ́n máa lọ lásìsù. Jẹ́ kí àwọn bí ọ̀rẹ́ mi ní fásitì lálámájì. Jẹ́ kó òun ṣe faculty. Wọ́n fi gbé màálù. Lásìsù. Èmi kọ́ mo decide. So but tí mo ti wá ní pé nítorí yẹn I sat down sincerely if you ask me it was prayer that led me all through that time. I protest for 8 months. Like the 20th of January 2014 we stopped protesting on 7th of August 2014. So for 8 months na we protest the last week. Gbàtà kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ protest yẹn abẹ̀rẹ̀ just after she exam. I was elected student union president on the 20th of January 2014. I was supposed to have my first exam on the 21st of January 2014. Àwọn àgbèrè àwọn àjò because no ceremony our 14 and girls tell me abi gbogbo owó school sọ when it is 25,000 so the owó school dey sọ tábàwá jókòó tá fẹ́ ṣeré lálẹ́ ilé àlẹ́ fa àwọn ọmọ hostel mi ọmọ lọ́wọ́ sí ìlú padà wá concentrate wọ́n lè lọ́wọ́ sí ilé sọ mo wá kọ̀ lójókòó àwọn Yorùbá sọ pé lójú kan láàrin àbáyọ̀mọ́ sọ fún yẹn afọ́jú láàrin ọdún oṣù pọ̀ àwọn ìyàwó ní abáṣẹ exam wọ́n ti jẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ nínú àti ilé ìlú ìlà our strategize our first grade exam 21st of January 2000 ẹ jẹ́ kí wọ́n fún ní very clear success when we were discussing it àwọn yóò fi gbé torí owó yìí àti ẹ̀sìn bẹ́ẹ̀ ni òfin ṣe kankan owó sọ fún mi I am ready to pay the Lord to be Christ mo wá sọ fún mi ní international mail màá lọ sínú exam ẹ wá lé jáde ní exam jẹ́rí ní ìdíbò rẹ̀ ní ti àwọn ojú wọn because the election last season ó kàn fi pa ìfi ìráyè kàwé jẹ́rí wọ́n ìdé kan gbálẹ̀ tó báyìí èyí mo stop exam pàpọ̀ sí ìgbọ̀n ìgbọ̀nra ìdíje yẹn ọjọ́ ìgbà tí school pa láti ọjọ́ yẹn láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní protest till 7th of August ọjọ́ kan ìwà sọ̀rọ̀ school yẹn ẹ̀yẹ́ tí wọ́n fún ní sniper wọ́n fún ní ìrìsọ́ fún ọ̀gárí tán àǹgárí pọ̀ ó lọ sí detention ọlọ́pàá gbé mi DSS gbé mi wọ́n fi kíná sí ní tíza wọ́n fi bá ọ̀nà ìṣe léṣe gan kò ṣe sọ tán as a story yẹn pọ̀ gan but we were true to our dreams and aspirations because ṣe ẹni tó bá tó yẹn tó nígbà tí mo wọlé èmi yìí sí olè má lágbára tó o lórí ma so mo wá fi ara mo fi ṣírò àwọn tó wà lẹ́yìn wa and I decided but it's not me again ẹ máa ti sọ pé àwọn student union leader àkìrà wọn jokes ẹgbẹ́ gbàgbọ́ láàrin wa wọ́n ti ní kọ́lọ́kọ́ sí maximum fishing àtọ̀ṣe another one of us mo lè sọ lẹ́nu our student union speaker ẹgbẹ́ gbàgbọ́ ni àṣìyà it was God ló lo èèyàn at the appointed time so many things happen for that 8 months ní ilé sọ pé kò buy but let us just say that every day tabati àmọ́ iṣẹ́ àdúrà we stand up we pray struggle yẹn ni struggle tá a ṣe anybody òkú for 8 months ká máa protest èèyàn kókó òkú lásán a máa gbé makopolo ní that big bus a máa gbé 14 a máa gbé 25 minimum of 22 àwọn shuttle àwọn dampo àìmọye we were leading about 14,000 students in protest every day we go out on protest now ẹ jẹ́ kí wá sọ nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ tí protest were compromised I can say it today gbogbo lọ́wọ́ anybody wà láì gbogbo lọ́wọ́ anybody they gave us money in fact but our party struggle let us on the two days they wanted to refund 843 million they now called us they forget about it since these people have paid this money over time you don't need that money you don't only can mention iye tí màá gbà nínú owó yẹn kó tó ṣe wá ní in fact tójú mi ni wọ́n ní kí wá ṣàwó yes ìtọ́jú mi rí wọ́n attack ìyàwó mi because I got married while I was still in university let me now tell you why I got married I got married to receive the temptation of ladies it was killing it was killing as in it was killing Mari àwọn máa kàn ní ìyá àlùsà. Naturally, they are student union presidents. They understand. Yes. He was killing, and I think one of those things that made us succeed was because I was determined and focused. Ìgbà tí ẹni tí wọ́n fún yín sórí ìgbà tí lẹ́yìn tí mo fẹ́ kíláàsì àti àdéhùn àwọn afẹ́ra wa àwọn òbí ẹ̀ wá ní ẹ̀ lọ ṣe máṣá nígbà tó bá fẹ́ ṣe máṣá máa fẹ́ lò that's the truth. In fact, ó di confrontation láti àti láti ṣé ẹ bá fẹ́ di fọ́ọ̀mù yín ó sọ wẹ́rẹ̀ so many things in fact me in Lesotho but ọlọ́run kọ́ sí kẹwàá sincerely there was nothing it was àwọn ṣeré ẹtì kájẹ wa báyọ̀ fún kí àjẹlá wa kó wa bá yín kó wa bá wọn. Ìgbà wa bá the care and ó dàbí ìgbà tẹ́ pé mo lálàá ọjọ́ yìí mo wà lábẹ́ igi òkòkò lábẹ́ igi bá ìgbẹ́ ìgbà àárín abẹ́ igi ẹ̀ jáde sí orí ọ̀nà ọ̀pájọ́ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ àyè ọ̀pọ̀ yàrá ọ̀pọ̀ ìwé láti bá yìí sí àti kò sí ìgbà tí ó ṣẹlẹ̀ o after struggle ẹni kí wọ́n sọ ọgbọ́n tó jú ní ìyá jẹ mí o ìyá jẹ mí o ọjọ́ tí wọ́n ní kọ́ pín 853 million kọ́sọ̀ yìí tí máa ta wọ́n ní kí n sọ tí máa fẹ́ yín máa gbé lórí bá so many promises in the travel out it was not because I was kò jẹ́ pé mi ìfi ṣègbéraga fún wa pious o but èyí ń mọ̀ pé àyẹ̀nìkan ní àdá so tí bá lọ necessarily ìra ní síbi tí mi ò sí àti jábọ̀ so many things happen in fact kò ṣe é sọ náà kò ṣe é sọ tán ìjọ tí jẹ́ gbé mi ní ṣé ìrẹ́lẹ̀ sọ ìjọ tó ń yìnbọn tó kú díẹ̀ kó bá ìtọ́nà ní kó lọ bá irin kan lórí so many things ó yà jẹsára o mi ìlàjẹsára o mi ìlàjẹ sí sí ṣáà ní truth o ẹ má jẹ kó tàn yín o mi ò ìlàjẹsára o maybe but it was nothing o to tell you àjẹsára kọ́ o long no protect you wa o so a lot of things happen but we remain steadfast because we had good intention. And if you ask me, if they say you do it, I will say that I'm happy. Anyway, àbúrò mi ó jáde lásán, she is now a chartered accountant. Èmi ni mo sanwó sọ́ọ́ ní jáde lásán, so kò ní ti struggle àwọn parents yìí. Àbúrò mi ọkùnrin ti jáde kúrò lásán. If I had compromised or have taken the money that time, owó yẹn ò lè ṣẹ́kù sí mi lọ́wọ́ nígbà táwọn fẹ́ lọ school náà.
Allah.
Do you understand? So I just think that although God guides the man, she our plan to find struggle with plan. I didn't plan that one to find struggle. Our plan was a different thing, but it can carry our situation. Come on to bring on situational leadership. When you find yourself in a position, how do you show strength? And anything of summary, woman deep preparation if you are not prepared. You understand? If you fight to the zero, you fall. So, next question.
Yeah, please. I want us to be precise because it's time for us to read already.
There's number 3, there's number 4.
There's number 4.
Sorry. Two things. I looked a law reporting organization, and I'm privileged to many judgments. I work with Nigerian law publication. You must have NWLR. So, and where I am going, you as a lawyer, what are you doing to help, especially Muslims? I am aware you are into pro bono stuff like that. One, how can we benefit from what pro bono mean is that wọ́n máa ń ṣe ẹjọ́ fún yàn lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. So if we have any issue, how do we get láti help wa? That is one. Then another thing ni pé I don't know, I might be wrong, but mo feel wípé àwa mùsùlùmí àpọ̀ tó ní àpọ̀ rárá níbi iṣẹ́ òfin yìí. Tá a bá yọ ọwọ́ àwọn Haúsá kúrò, especially nínú àwọn judges, tá a bá wọ àwọn judges tó wà ní Nàìjíríà lẹ́nu, tá a bá yọ ọwọ́ CJN tó jẹ́ Muslim, àwọn Haúsá tún gbé wa. Ẹ wo issue hijab tí wọ́n fight recently at the Supreme Court level tó yẹ pé I think 7 panel ló jókòó lórí judgement yẹn, and luckily a ní Muslim mẹ́rin láàrin wọn, òun ló fà tí Muslim fi rí case yẹn win. So kí ni impact, kí ni effort yín láti make sure wípé more Muslims wọ́n come into law?
Okay. Jerry, very quickly, the first question. To get open, I am open for pro bono services. For pro bono, who are streamlined, you understand? Maybe about get in touch. If I need any of this help, I have a foundation that we have so many times we found. In fact, we have thousands. Depending on the situation, and they come up, we take action on it. Now, very question about the question brother, yeah, mentoring you. It's fairly just. It is not easy. I agree with you. Cheteri, Poko. You understand? If you very Poko, adájọ́ kó wà ní òkè onílọ́yà kan tó ń ṣe lọ́fíìsì wa kì í fẹ́ lọ fún ọ̀gbìn ní máa yẹ òun ìfẹ́ ìjà àbúrò yẹn nínú pọ̀ àti jà á níjà àti ṣe you understand? Èyí tí máa kọ́ wọn advice ni pé ó ní there was an organization wọ́n máa ń attach àwọn secondary school students sí part of the part wa wọ́n máa ń mentor. I can say that I think about 3 of them I have about 15 of them mentor and give them and because the only mentor is only one lórí àwọn ọmọ tí mo ṣe ìjọba absolute education and mentor me judging and mentor me so every but if you know what we can do together to make that population is fine but sincerely we need to put in that effort. In fact ibi tẹ́ ẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn dé ó yé mi kọjá rẹ̀ ṣé mo kọ́ section 270 of the Nigerian Constitution only there shall be a Sharia family for the state that desire it. You know that the population of Muslims in Lagos is even very exploding. Yet we can't have a Sharia family because we don't have enough Muslims advocating for it. But because we don't have enough Muslims up there as judges, who will say, you understand, as Muslims now, you now go to registry to consummate marriage, and the registry is a creation of British law. A long time ago, but in terms of general application. So, if there is anything that we can do together in that aspect, I'm open to it. And if you know I can mentor people in that regard, and if you have people that want to change their career path, I told you that I didn't start out as a lawyer. I only changed my to become a lawyer. But I was a teacher before that said I was going to become a lawyer. Yes, I was a teacher. I joined a student on money on salary and that. We didn't go to you understand? So, any other question?
Alright. Thank you very much for the wonderful lecture. It was really for us. So the question I want to ask is, based on your experience when you shared with us the last week, you've already gotten how you were so resilient, the commitment, and what may I got from you not getting married, because if you haven't get married at that moment, I'm actually feel very shameful. So that would have cost you. You said, yeah, Sarah, but I would just say it's just that good intention, and your mother has really done a very good job at praying. Bọ́lá tí rí ọkùnrin àbóbìnrin tó ṣe dáadáa, wọ́n máa sọ pé ẹ lọ wá ìdí ẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ ìyẹn because the mother has really done a very good job. Okay, then the question I just want to ask is based on your topic on how to be a responsible leader. So I got some questions from our Obiriwa. They are like always lazy in reading. Then what kind of advice can you give them why they want to become a successful leader? Like how they like what kick away. So social media has really done more harm than good. That whenever they want to read, they get distracted with social media. And some people find a way to come out to Parope and walk away lórí phone. But unfortunately, they won't be able to read that. So what kind of advice can you give that kind of people?
Okay. Cherry, because of the problem tí o ní problem yìí. Ẹ̀mú kọ́tà máa ń ṣe ní Nàìjíríà. Àwọn kan láti pass exam. Kí káwé ní
Understand.
Understand wa. Ẹ máa wò pé tó bá parí exam yìí kí ni ẹ kò tún máa.
I don't follow.
So olófin jẹ́ pé organizations now spend so much money to retrain people abroad through the university system before they can fit in for the public money down. Jerry laziness is reading me. It will conquer everything. First, most of you like company, hello, tamper the algorithm in social media. It is the first thing to do. Go and change and follow your preferences on social media. Go and change. In fact, Mama share little notes on only what man change preferences on social media. Really, I'm going to start telling you. You will see what you want to see. And glory to the tribe. Emma will share Emma will animals. Emma will scientific invention. Really, I want the other one. But those ones will come because that is our manage our body system. So that first thing say I'm going to change, with that. Because people buy into your era. You use your money to buy business. You now let those things to mislead you. That these things stop people from looking for money. And you can go on a phone. What am I saying? But the people overgo. Because I'm not there who content for you. You don't see. Why do you think people want to million views? Because for every view, there is a money. There is a particular of what you are putting into brown. What the area supposed to see? What is solid kilo per gigabyte? When you use it, just take it into their bank. It becomes money for them. That money is what they pay the content creators. So why do you now use your money to buy what will now lead you astray? So you need to be on top of it to manage that one. Then on laziness and reading, when you don't read plenty things, or don't ever die a day, make it easy for yourself. You understand? See about conversation to reading. Don't read more than a page in a day. Reading only addiction. Social media is addiction. It means on the way you don't just read because you want to read. You read towards a particular subject. You understand? So so many things for reading. But the major thing is that information, and when you read now, don't read all this book and leave it. Read it and go back to it to revise it. Whatever can back to revise to you. Another style of reading is performance. When you are reading, you don't need all the information you need to, right? Be selective of what you do with that thing and put it down in your own way. You need to have a camp, but this is ours. I don't just read by reading. I read by using it to writing. Those what I read to writing is the thing that I really need for myself. The key points, the summary in university. To learn how to summarize because those things are not getting interested, that's why they're not reading it. Everyone wants to plus mathematics, everyone very able with activity. So you read by performing. The bad way is the best way to sleep now. But because you are not reading the focus determination in my life, why you are so But if you want to reach, say you want to achieve X, Y, Z, you will say ID. So preparation, mind you first place to prepare and set a goal and target for yourself. Ever to get a that is not how you show that you are a voracious leader. Set target, break it. No matter what you want to do in that time. Reduction of what you want to do into chapters or small. Once the moment you achieve that goal, then you need to go to the next one. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Jazakumullahu khairan. Let's say Jazakumullahu khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to be your source of strength, inshallah. La ilaha hawla wa la quwwata illa billah ila al-azim. Adúpẹ́ fún àwọn lecturer púpọ̀. Adúpẹ́ fún yín. Thank you so much. And I want to ask you freely that our brother can share your contact with us, so that because we want to have this advance ourselves too. Ọlọ́kùnrin kò ṣe ní ọ̀rùn fún wa. So inshallah we'll do that, we'll collect from our coordinator. So in case anybody bá ti bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ ní láti Lagos ó tú ẹ̀mọ̀ gbé ilé yín lọ ti wá. Ọlọ́kùnrin bá ṣe ní ọ̀rùn. We appreciate our father, the chairman of Ijegun branch and the PRS. Dúpẹ́ fún yín fún bíbẹ̀ wá wò sá. Ọlọ́kùnrin bá wa ṣe dáadáa fún yín. Ṣe dáadáa fún wa púpọ̀. Our MPS, even àdéhùn gan nínú àbíjáde no is a vibrant brother. We appreciate you so much, sir. Ọlọ́kùnrin kò jẹ́ kárí pẹ́ ọ̀làlá ìlà ìwà. I want to call on Amira after the presentation to the token we have. Amira Iwaba presented from lecturer. Inshallah we convert them to observers so that we have seen inshallah. Ọlọ́kùnrin àwọn ọmọ Tina kids. Wọ́n ní àwọn presentation wọ́n short wọ́n ti ń ṣe àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wọ́n ṣe látàárọ̀ ọlọ́run gbà ní ìbára fún wa.
Thank you so much. From Northern Lagos Zone 2, we hereby present this token to you. We are more than this, but please for that sake, accept it from us. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and reward you with goodness, inshallah. Say a big jazakumullahu khairan to you. Thank you.
Ẹ ṣeun gbọ́nsà ẹ jọ torí Ọlọ́run this is just a possibility ẹ dá nítorí Ọlọ́run kódà gbogbo ní Ìbàdàn fún wa. Thank you so much sir, we appreciate more. So we will be looking to have you another time inshallah. Ọlọ́run abá wa ṣe ní ọ̀run. Ẹ dá nítorí Ọlọ́run ẹ jẹ́ àtúbọ̀lẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kí sọ̀rọ̀ àtàwọn àṣẹ tàbá ti kí sọ̀rọ̀ àtàwọn àṣẹ tán àwọn ẹ jẹ́ ká máa lọ sí ìsàlẹ̀. Ọba take picture pẹ̀lú àwọn lecturer wa.
Just because it's a hand.